Is it better to get a loan from the bank or from a broker? So we've talked about this. I don't know how many times here, and I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm not a mortgage professional. I've been in the broker days in my past, but there's a difference, right? Banks typically have access to their programs, right? You walk into a bank, a Chase, for example, a Wells Fargo, depending on where you are, a BB&T or whatever the bank might be, and they have their programs, right? They don't really vary from those, what have you. A broker, for example, has access to those banks in many cases, plus many, many more. Josh will tell you he's approved with, I don't know what, 25, 30, how many brokers? I mean, banks?
23, 24 different lenders.
Yeah, so 23 different banks. So if your scenario doesn't necessarily fit in box A, he can go see, check out and see if it fits in any of the other boxes for lenders. At the same time, he can shop your interest rate. If you walk into a bank, they offer these rates, whatever the rates are. Josh is able to compare those rates versus the other 22 brokers, banks that he's approved with, and shop the best interest rate. So, brokers offer not only, an option for better terms, more open guidelines, but an ability to work with an expert in many cases, which I think is an important piece here. Typically, you're walking into a bank most of the time. Now, this isn't all of the time because there are experts that work at the big banks and what have you. But most of the time, you're dealing with somebody that is just taking an application that doesn't truly understand loans in those cases, and that's where a broker would stand out. But Josh, I'll let you do your 30-second sales pitch here on the broker side. I should have just thrown it your way to begin with.
Yeah, no, we're good. We've both covered it a ton. So what I would say is exactly what Jeb said. They have limited products. They often have overlays, added guidelines that they made because banks are more conservative that don't apply. And then for the most part, by all means, I know experts that work at banks, but the majority of loan officers at banks are closer to bank tellers than mortgage experts. So the ability to shop more programs will generally get you lower rates, lower fees, better service, and more expertise. And a bank loan officer is going to be pretty hard to get a hold of if you need them at 7 p.m. or at Saturday at 2 o'clock. I'm not saying I love it when I get calls and texts on the weekends, but it happens. 2, 3 calls, we take 5 minutes and go through and get you your information. So by all means, shop them all. I tell anyone, I'm never offended by you talking to 2, 3, 4 sources, because I think when you're done talking to 2 or 3 or 4 people, it is even more apparent that we're the better option for you.
No, good. And then the follow-up question she asked was, do you need to pay any additional charges to get a loan with a broker?
Absolutely not. The fees are going to be, the items that get charged are going to be the same wherever you go. On our end, we don't charge a processing fee. A lot of the banks don't, some do. It's more common among banks than it is with lenders. So at the end of the day, all of the things need to be done on a loan, whether you go to one source where the bank does everything, or whether you go to a broker that does a bunch of it and then hands it to the lender for underwriting and funding. So no, absolutely no additional charges for working with a broker, and you're just more likely to get lower rates and fees because of our ability to shop and find out who has the best terms on any given day.